ecological issues. They affect us all. And so, tonight on Second Nature, we'll be recycling some old nature footage.
Okay, James, you got something to say to me? Say it to me, buddy. I'm going to prison? No, I think you're going to prison. I'm not the one that left my mother laying on the floor. I'm not the one that stole $30,000 out of her bank account. I'm not the one that says I got my dad's inheritance check, $2 million, and spent it already. Nobody can spend $2 million unless you're buying a car every single day. The vehicle belongs to your mother, not you. You own nothing. So get it through your thick skull, boy. You're always going to be a little boy, and you're always going to depend on somebody to take care of you because you're not a man enough to take care of yourself.
Folks, are you receiving my transmission? Can you hear me out there? Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. What can I say? Another impromptu live stream. So for some of you that know or may not know, whatever the case may be, Von Helton went live this morning. Well, let's back up a little bit. Apparently what I've got from Von is that he ran into Marcia at the Dollar General. She said, I'm going to paraphrase, stop talking shit about me. I think she used an expression like, keep your mouth off me or something. I'm not aware of that expression, but I think that's what it means. Don't talk shit about me. Stop talking shit. James accused her of murder. She laughed and flipped him the bird. Give him the middle finger, said, fuck you. Well, that set Vaughn off. Now, anybody that's been watching Vaughn for any amount of time, let alone a decade, we know his favorite threat is to throw everybody in jail, which we basically all laugh at. And this morning was no exception. He was naming names. Mine in particular, he named my full legal name and said that I'm going to jail for murder and that the Frost, if anything happens to him, the property, the vehicles, that's an automatic guilty plea. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Now, for all of us, it's a joke. We laugh at Von Helton, right, when he says this kind of shit. We're used to it, but we don't have to live with it, right? Uh-oh. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. But again, it's a joke for us, right? But we don't have to live with this bullshit and deal with this guy. Also, I seen that Trolls, Haters, Naysayers over in Discord was absolutely lit up and people were talking. And, you know, for the most part, folks, it's just going to be a lot of speculation on our part. What ought to be and what should be and what will happen, it's going to take time. I don't think it'll be a blaze of fireworks like everybody wants. I think it'll be a peter out. Again, we can save those talks for another day. Maybe we'll have a little powwow after this. But I wanted to give Larry, he had expressed on Facebook his frustration and that he wanted to get it out there. So I have given the Frost the opportunity to come on once again, give us updates. He had said something about someone was going to talk with the lawyers. Now remember, it's Jim that actually has anything to do with, he's the executor of the will. No one really owns the property. The Frost can't just walk in and throw Von Helton out because he's a piece of shit. The SWAT team can't kick down the front doors because he's a piece of shit, right? There are protocols, there's processes that happen, right? If they end up liquidating this property, this process may take months. Von Helton may buy himself time. He may have months before he even gets a 90-day notice. I don't know. We're going to see if we can get some information and some updates on that, of what's going on, what they can do, what they can't do. Now, utilities, that's another issue. But all he really has is his electricity and his internet. The heat is free, but of course we need electricity to move the fans and through the vents and stuff. So if I don't know if there's someone out there feeding him some cash, or if he's got his hands on a little bit of cash, he can go for a little while. He's a man of simple means. He's a man of foam and Hot Wheels, folks. So he doesn't have expensive taste. So I just want to prepare people. I don't know if it's like we're gonna see, you know. I don't know how this is going to play out. We're going to try to get Larry first on the phone. I told Marcia and Ronnie if they want to come on, they're more than welcome to say their 2 cents. They may jump in the call. I'm going to do it through Facebook because that seems to work the easiest for everybody considering. So I'm going to get a hold of Larry here in a second. Now, I had planned on playing, so it's the first hour of Von's Twitch stream this morning, at least. I didn't even watch the second hour and a half because of him cutting foam. There's probably gold nuggets in there. I don't know. I was going to save the full hour of it for Weirdo Wonderland tomorrow night. Now, Nats in the Pizza, may the gods bless his soul, did good work. He did capture some of this and did an abridged version. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but just in case you missed it, until I get the Frost set up on the phone here, we are going to have ourselves a little listen-do of what got Von's feathers all ruffled this morning and started slandering and making accusations against people. This is a desperate man we're watching here, folks. I think his time is nigh, one way or another. How it's going to play out, I don't know. I don't even want to guess. But let's watch a little bit of this. Please thumbs up the video. That's all that really matters for me, folks. And I'm going to see if I can get things situated in the background here. So stay tuned. Stay with us. If you're just joining, this is just going to give a little context to the discussion we're going to have. Folks, thank you for joining me. Here we go.
See, her memory was coming back. Her memory was coming back. They gave her powerful psychotropic drugs to keep her dumb and stupid and make her forget. But the gods started giving her memory back. The medication stopped working. Greed does things to people, folks. It does. And he saw the opportunity to take advantage of an elderly person, and he did. And then he got him killed because they were going to testify. See, Mom was going to testify. I was going to set up a court case in Washington, D.C., where she could testify against James Arnold and get her money.
Nick Bravo has just donated $2 through Super Chat. Has Von ransacked Alice's house, or is it locked up?
Well, the only one that has keys last time I heard was Von Helton. The Frost can't even get in there. Right? So nobody has had the legal right to go and lock the place up. So we saw Von had already raided her pantry. Guaranteed he's tearing through the closets trying to see if there's another jar with $1,000 bills, his words, not mine, wadded up. Of course, that's a fantasy, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So let's just let this play for a second, folks.
Back, get my money back. But no. He had to kill her. They killed my mother intentionally with malice. But she was murdered in cold blood because I set over that stupid camera that Larry installed in Mom's house. Illegally, was it? That I was going to take her to court in Washington, D.C., and we were going to file to get my inheritance money back away from James Arnold Frost. Well, we can't have that. So we got to kill her ass. Right, guys? Yeah. We got to kill her. If I don't see results by the end of this week, I'm going to step in. Now you say, well, Von, the guys told you to stay out. Right. But see, there's been a change of plans. There's been a change of plans. And so if I don't see results by the end of this week in regards to the Frost or in regards to my children, I will step in. My mother must be avenged. She was murdered in cold blood, and she must be avenged. So yeah, if my trailer should suddenly catch on fire, or if my truck should suddenly break down, or if something should suddenly happen to me, I should have a horrible accident of some kind, Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost will be immediately arrested and thrown in prison. So if anything is done to me in any way, shape, or form, it will be considered an automatic guilty plea on the part of Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost. Ran into Marcia Frost yesterday, Dollar General, in passing. She said, "Get your mouth off of me." I said, well, it'll be a hell of a lot easier to do that now since you killed my mother. And she flipped me the bird, laughed, and walked on into Dollar General. So there's your opinion on what they think about my mother. They didn't care about her. They just wanted her fucking money. Now that they got it, they don't give a shit about her. Right? Absolutely. But anyway, the gods will take care of them motherfuckers. Guaranteed. They have a destiny, and it ain't a good one. But, hey, lying, cheating, stealing, what is that going to profit you in the long run anyway, right? Yeah. You're setting yourself up for bad karma no matter how you deal with it. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Just saying, boys and girls, they're going to get away with murder. Clay County's going to cover up a murder. Then won't that be fun? That'll be fun and educational, I guess, right? Is that the purpose of it, to be fun and educational? Let's cover up the murder. Let's act like it didn't happen. The nice thing about it is that before she passed, I learned that she didn't really hate me. See, what was happening, for those of you that don't know, what was happening was the Frosts were actually manipulating my mother for a long time. Before I was even a legal adult, they were manipulating her, turning her against her own son. And for as long as I can remember, I thought my mom hated me. Turns out she didn't hate me at all. The Frosts had been manipulating her all this time, particularly that man down the road named James Arnold Frost. He had been manipulating her all this time. He was the one that told her not to keep her promise to pay off the student loans. See, if I'm in debt, it's going to be hard for me to get a business loan and start a business. It's going to be hard for me to get a home loan to get a home. It's going to be hard for me to get a car.
This is how entitled this guy is. So if you missed it, folks, if you're new to this or maybe you just didn't catch it before, Von Helton has talked about this. Von Helton ran up $12,000, he says, on furniture and debt on Alice's name. She was fucking pissed off and like, take all this shit back.
I need G-Man. Someone get a hold of G-Man now.
Sean87 has just donated $2. Big Larry Frost, please purchase some headphones in Dollar General. That echo.
Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully with the Facebook, if we get them going here. I just sent messages out to them. I don't know if it's supper time or dinner time or what the case is in Kentucky, but we'll give them a chance to respond. I knew around 6 we were doing this, so I'm just waiting on them to respond. But like I said, so the story was he ran up $12,000 on Ma's name. She was pissed off, like, take all this stuff back. And in his fucking twisted comic book version of reality, he thought, well, fine, then you have to pay my student loans. Why would she have to pay, which were probably, I don't know, actually I shouldn't say that, back in the 80s or whatever it was, but why is she entitled to pay his student loans because he ran up a $12,000 debt that he refuses to pay? Do you see what I'm saying here, folks? He's made this deal and held it against her forever because he had to take the furniture back, which he put on her name, and gave her $12,000 in debt. And who knows, this is his story. I know the numbers don't totally match in the 80s, and I don't know what the hell kind of furniture he was buying for his first apartment. But that's a number he's thrown out. He ran up $12,000 in debt on her name. She got mad. So he's like, fine, I'll take it all back, but you got to pay my student loans. And he's been mad to this day, even as the woman has just been laid to rest. He is still ranting that she reneged on this fucking deal. Like, that's like me swiping my parents' credit card, running it to the max.
I need G-Man. Someone get a hold of G-Man now.
Schneider Handyman donated $5 through Super Chat. Behold a pale horse asshole.
Yeah, it's a pale horse rides here, folks. We don't want to say too much. Like I said, will it go fireworks or peter down? But like I was saying, thank you very much, by the way. Yeah, I think we all see this. I don't have to make analogies, or it's basically the same thing. Me running up my parents' credit and then telling them, well, fine, I'll pay it, but you got to pay all my bills, which could be more than that. Like, no, she doesn't owe you that. She doesn't owe you to pay your fucking debts because you ran up her credit. You're responsible for the credit you ran up. She gave you a place to live. She paid your child support to your kid in North Dakota till he was 18 for you to keep you out of jail. And you say she still owes you? Dude, you could have got a job and paid those student loans back 25 years ago. Like, does anybody actually believe this bullshit? Anyway, sorry, I digress, folks.
I can't get a car loan. Why? Because my credit will suck. I'll have shitty credit. I won't be able to get anything. Okay? So it was done deliberately. It was done deliberately with malice and intention. And because he knew that if I had good credit, it would be hard to fight me. So we got to destroy his credit. So we'll convince Alice not to keep her promise and pay off the student loans, so that he'll have that sword of Damocles hanging over his head for the rest of his life. And it worked. It absolutely worked. Worked like a charm. So the Frosts have been manipulating Mom even before I was a legal adult. Had to, because we had to destroy that man. That man called James Paul von Helton. We have to destroy him. Same edict these trolls and haters have. We got to destroy him. What are they so afraid of? That's the question you need to be asking yourselves, folks. What is so scary about me that they had been manipulating my mother against me even when I was a child? That's something you need to ask yourself. Stop and think for a minute. Why would the Frosts be so terrified of me that they would literally manipulate my mother before I was even a legal adult? Why would they do that? I think when you find that answer, then you'll get a better understanding of what's really going on, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, they manipulated her, got her to sell the family business, which I'd been busting my ass to learn, by the way. I mean, I learned how to clean the boilers. I learned how to do the book work. I was learning everything there was to learn about the business, because I'm going to take the businesses over, right? I was the heir. I was the heir apparent. I was going to, and everybody at Center Haven, everybody at Helton's, yeah, man, we definitely want James. He's, he knows this, he knows his stuff. So I had the blessings of the employees, and I'm busting my ass learning everything I can about the businesses. And then somebody put a bug in Mom's ear and got her to sell the family businesses to a man in Columbus that didn't even want them. He didn't even want them. He's like, why are you selling these to me? I got to sell them to you. I got to sell them to you. He didn't even want them. Didn't know how to run them. He brought an administrator in from out of state. The administrator didn't know how to run them either. And so they fell into disarray. Who was it, though, that put that bug in her ear to not sell them to her son or give them to her son? Think, folks. Stop and think. Who stands to gain by me not being in charge of those family businesses? Folks, can you imagine where I'd be right now if I had my family businesses? I sure as hell wouldn't be poor now, would I? No, I would not. So obviously someone had an agenda before I was even a legal adult now, didn't they? And that person is right down the road there, James Arnold Frost. He had motive, he had intent, and he had the will to do so. And see, he was making good money at Champion. Let's be clear about that. He was making good money at Champion. So he also had the financial means, didn't he? Yeah. Now you say, well, Bon, if he's making good money, why was he jealous of your mother? Because she had it all. She had everything. She had all these businesses and had a ton of money and stuff. And so, it's just jealousy, petty jealousy. He wanted everything. He wanted everything she had. And he saw the opportunity to do it. But he knew he had to get me out of the way. Even though I wasn't even a legal adult, he knew he had to get me out of the way. So what did he do? Well, he told Mom.
87 donated $5. What about when Andrea said she DIESD 3 times and Von said did the rigor mortis said as classic moment?
Yeah, what about that? Thank you very much for the donation.
Not to keep her promise and pay off the student loans. He got Mom to sell the family businesses to a complete stranger who run them into the ground. The Gentrys actually had to step in and save the family businesses.
Not even joking. So, what is this? It's an agenda. He plotted this shit out long before he come down here and put his hands out like this and said, this is all going to be mine. He was thinking about this shit way in advance. Way in advance. Okay. And what did the gods say to me? They said, he'll never stop. He's not going to stop. They told me just recently, even though mom's dead, he's still not going to stop. He's still not going to stop. 3 strokes the gods gave him to tell him to stop, and he still won't stop. That's either balls the size of Mount Olympus or that's utter stupidity. Now, you decide which one that is. Right? Because it's one or the other. Because I tell you, man, if I got 3 strokes, I'd be calling it quits. I'd be throwing my hands up saying, yeah, okay, man, you win. Fuck this. But apparently not James Arnold Frost. No. Apparently not James Arnold Frost. He's going to keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on. And then the gods are going to be like, okay, that's it. You're gone. Bye. Because he's not going to stop. They told me so. They said, yeah, he's not going to stop. Even though your mom is now dead, he's still not going to stop. And probably the other Frosts aren't going to stop either. They're still going to be dogging me.
So first update, I successfully contacted Marcia. She's calling Larry right now and helping them get things situated. So hang tight, folks. We're going to get this. We're going to get this working here.
And so the gods are like, hey, man, we got to take him out of here. He's not going to stop. And I asked him, back then, I told Larry this to tell him. Larry didn't tell him shit, I guarantee you. But anyway, I told Larry to tell him that all he's got to do is give back all the shit he stole and leave the state of Kentucky, and the gods will not only let him live, they'll extend his life. Hell, he might live to be 100 fucking years old if he'll give back everything he stole, including the Sester property, because apparently, according to the gods, he didn't exactly get the Sester property legally. So if he returns the Sester property, gives back the $7.5 million, gives back the lawn equipment, the guns, all of it, and just, brings it over here and just leaves it and puts the money in my bank account and leaves the state of Kentucky, go back to Ohio, where he's from anyway, the gods will extend his life. They'll not just let him live, they'll extend his life. He might could live to see 100 years old. All he's got to do is do the right thing and give back what he stole. But the gods said he's not going to do that. He's not going to do it. His heart is hardened, and he's not going to do that. And no, the gods didn't harden his heart. Quit being stupid. He did that. He is a free moral agent. He has the ability to change his mind, but he ain't going to change his mind.
XPECT No Quarter donated $10 through Super Chat. Yee-haw, fun. The real-life version of Mr. Hanky. Happy New Year everyone of T, H and N.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As I said, folks, Marcia is working on getting Larry online here. We'll work with you, Larry. We'll work with you. We'll keep watching this until we can get this all set up. Folks.
Because this was plotted out years ago before I was even a legal adult. And anybody that is colluding with James Arnold Frost is going to go to prison right along with him. I will ensure that. I will ensure that. And it's just a shame, though. Greed does things to people, folks. It does. And he saw the opportunity to take advantage of an elderly person, and he did. And then he got him killed because they were going to testify. See, Mom was going to testify. I was going to set up a court case in Washington, D.C., where she could testify against James Arnold and get her money back, get my money back. But no. He had to kill her because she was going to testify against him. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying all this because I don't think the truth is going to get out there unless I do say it. And so it's important for you all to know what's going on. They killed my mother intentionally with malice. It is cold-blooded murder. She was going to testify in federal court in Washington, D.C. against James Arnold Frost for the theft of $7.5 million, in addition to Larry Frost being in possession of her SSI and stimulus checks. And she was going to testify in federal court in Washington, D.C. Well, we can't have that, boys and girls. So they had Larry to give her the, knowing full well the would give her blood clots or a heart attack.
I don't know if there's breaking news because I need to talk to Larry, because Larry had posted on Facebook today. So, folks, if it was just about Marsha running into him at the dollar store, I would save that for tomorrow night, which I was going to do. We're going to watch the full version of this where he actually says more shit than what you're hearing now. But Larry had posted that today was the day that somebody was meeting with lawyers and they were going to find out what they can do, what they can't do. Plus, Larry was pretty revved up about some of the accusations. I mean, it's, again, for us, it's just another day with Von Helton and threats. But we don't have to live with this guy. So I was giving him the opportunity. He agreed to 6 o'clock. I don't know what's going on. I have been in contact with Marsha. Marsha is trying to get a hold of him on the phone here and get this set up so we can get talking. But in the meantime, we're going to watch this. So hopefully we have more than just, Marsha running into him at the dollar store or the Dollar Tree. Or what is it down there? The Dollar General, sorry. Which is still funny on its own. Don't get me wrong. I still want to pick her brain about that if she jumps in on the call. But I want to pick Larry's brain because, like I said, he said that, I'm assuming it's Jim or somebody, had a meeting with lawyers. And they're going to find out exactly what's going on, what the next steps are. So that's the news I'm hoping that we can get, and allow Larry and whoever else wants to jump in on the call to say their piece. We're just waiting to get this coordinated, folks. But thanks for joining. In the meantime, you can thumbs up the video.
One or the other. And it gave her the blood clot. The blood clot went to her brain and killed her. Simple as that. So yes, it's at minimum, it's manslaughter. At maximum, it's murder one.
That is true. There'll probably be things that he's not privy to anyways, because I know everybody's like the Frost, right? We talk about the Frost as the family, but the Frost at this point in time have no I have just as much power in this whole thing as any of the Frosts, except for Jim, who's executor of the will, and he just has to do whatever the lawyers, the law, and the will tell him to do, right? So they don't have permission to go on the property and start putting locks on things. Larry can't just kick in the front door and escort Vaughn out to the curb, as much as we'd all love to see that. At this time, they're just people that live down the street. In fact, Larry's in the same boat. He said he's already packing for when he gets the 90-day notice to move out. As of yet, no one's got any notices because this is the gray area of the law here, folks. We're in limbo until they decide what is going on with the land. If it's going to be liquidated, then they've got to sell it. And then, people get their notices to move. So this could be a process that takes a while, folks. It's not like, tomorrow morning he's going to be escorted out. But maybe, I don't know. That's what we're waiting to find out, what the lawyers actually have to say. Because that's actually, it's what's in the will. And whatever legal process they have to follow, that's going to dictate the timeline of events. I'm hoping that we can get this going here soon. And hopefully we have something we can update. I don't know until we talk to them. But folks, until then, let's keep enjoying the video.
But either way, they killed my mother. For real. Not maybe, not kinda. For real. They for real killed my mother. And then they buried her in a hole in the ground next to a dog. That should tell you all you need to know about the Frost. Okay, so burying her next to a dog was symbolic. It had nothing to do with her being a pet lover or anything like that. It was symbolic. A derogatory thing. They did a derogatory thing. They what is it? Desecration. It was a desecration. Okay? That's what it was. They hated Alice. They hated Alice Helton. They hated her because she married my daddy. They hated her because she was rich and she had money, she had influence, she had businesses. They hated her for it. And like I said, they saw an opportunity to take advantage of an elderly person. Now, unfortunately, that shit happens in this country far too much. Sadly, happens far too much. And but unfortunately, it does happen. It happens thousands of times every year in this country. where the elderly are taken advantage of by distant relatives. And the immediate family, me, is left high and dry. This happens in this country way too much.
I'd probably say more often it's done by the immediate people like Von Helton who have access to her bank account and shit. That's what I would say. Look, we're having some troubles getting a hold of Larry, but Marcia is available. I'm going to give her a call. And we can get this party started. Bear with me here, folks. Hello.
You there?
Hey, Ron, how you doing? Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Secular?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Larry just hung up the phone with me, and he says he's getting on right now.
Okay, I can add him to the call here once he logs on. How are you guys doing today?
Well, I'm a little wore out, and I've got a sinus and an ear infection going on, but I'm doing
fun.
good.
Fun stuff, fun stuff. So I heard that you had a run-in with Von Helton at the Dollar General.
Yeah, I sure did. I was going in to get something that's neither here nor there, and he was coming out with a whole cart full of his wonderful TV dinners and 12 packs of pop, and I was like, "Oh, hi, Vaughn," and I made sure he recognized me, and I said, "Hey, you need to keep my name out of your filthy mouth," and I walked away, and he started running his mouth. My daughter's boyfriend thinks that he said, if I wouldn't have done this and if I wouldn't have done that, he wouldn't have had to, but we couldn't make out what he was saying exactly.
Right.
And I flipped him the bird and went into the store, and I think he was waiting on me to come out.
Oh, was he hanging out? Was he lurking in the parking lot?
It took him a little extra time to get his groceries loaded up.
Now, was he driving Ma's truck?
Yep. It's the only vehicle he's got.
Well, that's funny because he never has gas to go visit her in the hospital or go see his kids. I just find that interesting. But anyways.
No, he was in Ma Helton's truck.
Okay, and he's buying 12 packs of pop and
TV dinners, what he normally eats.
Living like a king at the Dollar General. Now, all jokes aside, I mean, I thought he was broke.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't get that memo. If he would stop talking about us and threatening us, I wouldn't care what the heck happened to him.
Right.
You know, my world does not revolve around Von Helton. I have my own family, my own life to live, other than play these charades and shenanigans that he is putting out there that we have done. That's not how we roll.
Right. Well, he was naming me by name, my full legal name, saying I'm implicated in now the murder.
Awesome.
I guess we're going to share the same cells.
Hey, does he need a ride to Washington? I'll drive him.
Yeah. Jeez. Now I know I know you guys are fairly removed from the whole thing. You're really just there by relation. I understand that. But have you happened to hear anything as far as the lawyers?
I have not.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we won't.
Right.
And then if we do, I can't say.
Right.
But as of right now, I have not.
Right.
I have no knowledge.
I got you. We're just waiting for Larry to sign into Facebook, and I'll add him to the phone call here.
That's fine.
I know he had a few things to say. He was pretty revved up this morning.
Oh, he's upset. I mean, Irby doesn't know the whole situation of how things are going on.
Right.
Larry doesn't have a new truck.
Right.
That he thinks he has.
Right.
But, I mean, that's Larry's story to tell you.
Right.
But, I mean...
I need G-Man.
He doesn't know nothing.
Hold of G-Man now.
Butthurt Lawyer donated $5
making things up as he goes along.
He's definitely building quite a story, isn't he?
Yeah, and it just, the more videos he puts out, the more twists. I mean, I want to know when I had these conversations with Alice. I want to know when my husband was trying to make... Ron, when he was around Alice, he was a young kid. Little
right.
Jim had his own life to deal with, not manipulate anybody, and that's not Jim. That's not who we are.
Right. And again, a lot of people have, and maybe it's from Von Helden or whatever, like, again, you guys you live on the same road and you're there by relation, but you guys don't have any direct interaction with this, or you're just kind of getting pulled into it by him shooting his mouth off. And
basically.
Yeah.
Basically, I withdrew the moment I got wind of that video where he was coercing Layla to say I trained her to smear poop on the wall and make a mess out of her room.
Right.
I mean, if I was that type of person, how come I was able to raise 3 children with no CPS involvement?
Right. No, definitely.
My baby's getting ready to be 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I'm going to train them kids to do that kind of stuff because I want to ruin people's lives. I don't think so. It doesn't just ruin the parents' lives, it ruins the children's.
Right. Oh, I think Larry's on. Am ready, he says. So I'm going to attempt. I don't do this through the phone too much. Should I be able to add him? Give me one quick sec.
I'm going to mute you for a minute and let you do that.
Okay. Find Big Larry here. Oh, there he is. We're going to add him to the call. It's ringing, Larry. Oh, he has joined the chat. Larry, do we have you?
Let me turn my phone up because I can barely hear you.
All right, we got you loud and clear, though. Testing. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Um,
I got it. I'm here.
all right. Okay, do you have YouTube on, Larry?
Yes, I do.
You'll have to turn the volume of YouTube off because it's echoing through.
I can't hear you. I can barely hear you on my phone, but I hear you on the YouTube one.
Yeah, but it's just causing echo and stuff, Larry. You're going to have to use headphones or something. It's just causing feedback. I can't hear you.
I want a headset.
All right, we'll get this set up. So, Larry, I'm just going to stay quiet for a second. Is there anything you want to start with? Because I know you were kind of upset this morning.
Well, the first thing I can say, I didn't kill him. What about you giving him the first kill? He wasn't.
Wait for it to catch up, folks.
Okay, dear. Is anybody still there?
Yeah, we're here.
I'm just going to stay quiet for a second. Is there anything you want to start with? Because I know you were kind of upset this morning.
I think he's working it out here, folks. Sounds like someone in the background helping him out. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to help him out here, get this set up. Let's just keep watching this video for a sec.
I have been emailing everything that has been occurring to the governor's office, and I have the emails to prove it. So the governor has been sitting on all this information for over a year, and had the governor acted a year ago when I asked him to act, my mother would still be alive today. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Because Larry Frost would have been in prison and he wouldn't have been able to give my mother. And so she would be alive today. So the governor is culpable. The attorney general is culpable. These people have known about this for over a year, and they did nothing. They sat on their hands and did nothing. And now my mother is dead, murdered in cold blood, because she was going to testify in federal court in Washington, D.C. against James Arnold Frost. And the governor did nothing. And the attorney general did nothing. And so that's the truth. That's the absolute unmitigated truth. And it's a crying shame. But like I said, elderly are taken advantage of in this country thousands of times every year. Distant relatives come in out of nowhere, and they leave people like me, the actual family, we're left high and dry. So I just want to make it abundantly clear that the Frosts are going to get away with murder because it doesn't look like anyone's willing to do jack shit. Like I said, the Attorney General is aware of this information. The governor's office has been sitting on this information for over a year. And had they acted back when I asked them to, my mother would be alive today because Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost would be in jail. But because they were not put in jail when I begged the governor's office to do so, my mother is now dead. A mother whose father lived to be 101 years old, I would point out. So she still had life left. She still had plenty of life left. Hell, she would have probably outlived me. You never fucking know. But for sure, she easily had a few more years left. No question about that. But she was murdered in cold blood because I set over that stupid camera that Larry installed in Mom's house. Illegally, was it? That I was going to take her to court in Washington, D.C., and we were going to file to get my inheritance money back away from James Arnold Frost. Well, we can't have that. So we got to kill her ass. Right, guys? Yeah. We got to kill her. And it's funny because like I said, when I saw Marcia at Dollar General, I said, yeah, I guess I don't need to talk to you anymore since you killed my mother. She just laughed and flipped me the bird and walked on into Dollar General. They don't give a damn about Alice. They never did. They never did. This was just about taking her shit. That's what it was all about for all along. And let me tell you something, trolls. The murder of my mother is squarely on your shoulders as well, because every goddamn one of you are accessories. See, her memory was coming back. Her memory was coming back.
All right, folks, I think we got it worked out. We got her good. Okay, Larry, thank you for joining me this evening.
No problem.
So I'm going to let you just lead. You know what Von Helton said this morning. He's even named me and implicated me now in a murder plot. I know you had a few things to say, so I'm going to let you say them.
Irvy, if anybody's plotted your mother's murder, it would be you. You're the ones that's not giving her the pills. You're the one that's not calling the ambulance when you first find her on the floor. Oh, yeah, I forgot. A 92-year-old woman wants to lay on the floor and sleep. Hello. You know, I thought you were a little dumb. You're dumb and retarded, James. No 92-year-old woman is going to lay on no goddamn floor. What are you, stupid kid? You know, my 13-year-old boy is smarter than you, James. You know, you keep saying the Frost did this, the Frost did that. They all want your money. They all want your property. Your mom had nothing that none of us Frosts want but love and respect. And that's something that you don't know how to give your mother, your children, not even your wife. You couldn't take care of your wife. You can't take care of your kids. You couldn't take care of your mother. You can't even take care of yourself, little boy. And you think you're a man? Meet me in your front yard. I'll come over there. I'm not scared. You know, you're going to run your mouth when you're not around us, but when you're around us, everything peaches and cream. You're lucky it was Marcia that met you at the store today and not me. Because I'm not going to play games dreams the next time I see you, kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, he certainly had a lot to say this morning, didn't he?
Oh, twice. I heard both videos.
Right. So,
he acts like I ain't got friends. He says all my friends are his trolls. I got news for him. I got more friends than trolls. And I ain't seen no problems with trolls, starting with you. You're just telling the proven facts, and he don't like it.
Well, that's what makes him a troll to people. If you don't agree with him and you call him out on his bullshit, then you're a troll.
Yeah, well, if he wouldn't lie, he wouldn't have a troll then, would he?
No. No, most of these people that you see out here, and that a lot of people in one way or another has been fucked over. Go ahead.
He says he was being trained to take over that nursing home. He was never trained to take over the nursing home. He was washing bedpans.
Right.
After the nurses and the real people went in there and took the pee from the people, they give them to him, and he will wash them out and get them ready for the next time. That was his job.
Right.
Anybody can wash bedpans.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I got 8-year-olds that can wash a bed. Man, I think his kids are smarter than he is.
Well, we hope so. You would probably agree that his kids are in a better place now.
A much better place. They're getting fed real meal. They're getting cleaned every day. They're getting bathed every day. The people's teaching them how to read and write and everything. I can't wait till they're 21 and laugh at him and say, you ain't my dad. You didn't raise me. You didn't do shit but lock me in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And feed me bologna sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. I wonder where he's getting this money.
Kids remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know where he's getting money. It's got to be the money that you trolls are sending him, or he's still holding a little bit of Alice's money, but pretty soon it's going to run out.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he's got to get a lawyer. He better get a good lawyer, because we already have one. And he is already going through the paperwork, and he's going to let me know exactly what I can do. As everybody knows, I am not power of attorney no more.
Right.
I'm a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I am still somebody. I am still a Frost. And you still are not going to go out there and run your name on the Frost.
Right.
He says he's not a Frost, and then you watch 10 minutes later, he is a Frost. What is he?
Mm-hmm.
I think he got adopted. I think Alice didn't adopt Glinda. I think she adopted Herbie.
Yeah.
Because he's a nutcase. He had to come from the aliens or something.
Yeah, I always figured he was hatched. Maybe they found him in the woods or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was something.
So you haven't touched base with your lawyer today yet?
Jim and Millie has talked to the lawyer, but I have not talked to Jim and Millie yet because Marcia called me and said we were already live, and I wasn't expected to go live until about 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry for the misunderstanding.
Hey, that's fine.
Do you happen to know when the reading of the will be? And
No, I can already tell you what the will says. It says that all 3 grandkids get all properties and all money. Irby gets $250 a month for the rest of his life as long as the money is there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all the will says. And the lawyers have it now, so...
Okay, so
now
it's
they're going to look at it, figure out what to do. You know, Jim says to sell all the properties and put all the money in the trust fund, and when the kids turn 21 years old, they get 33.3%. Each one of them does.
Right.
Or we hire somebody to take care of all the properties until the kids turn 21 and let them do what they want.
Right.
But that means we're going to have to pay somebody to take care of these properties.
Right.
And nobody is going to want to deal with Irby. You know, I only put up with Irby's bull because of Alice Hilton.
Right.
Otherwise known as Alice Frost.
Right.
Him saying that that one girl, Jessica, is not related. She's not a Frost. Her mother was a Frost. I don't know if everybody knows it, but Glenda's mother was Hazel Frost, which is Alice's older sister who'd like to go out and party and enjoy life. So Alice wanted a baby, so she let Alice have the baby, and Alice adopted her and raised her for herself. So in the long run, she is still a Frost.
Right. Well, he'd still be related. They would be cousins, right? Even if he didn't acknowledge her as the sister. I mean, he's talking like they're not even blood
related. If he
related.
didn't acknowledge her as a sister, it would still be a cousin.
Right. So they're still blood related.
The same as me and him.
Right.
Yeah, he is still related to her.
Mm-hmm.
But he's saying she's not.
And for that matter, the will is whatever Alice wants anyways. So even if she's not related, and she said she wanted Glenda or the grandkids to have stuff, that's up to her anyways.
Well, see, right, and that's the hard part about the whole will and everything, because, you know, I don't know what Jim and Millie Jim was thinking about when they wrote the will out, because the only 3 grandkids she put in the will were Irby's 3 grandkids. And I think the only reason she did that is because Glenda and Alice was fighting over Glenda being an alcoholic. And she was mad at Glenda for drinking in the house, and she threw Glenda out of the house. Right. So Glenda moved back to Hamilton, Ohio, and that was the last time everyone seen her, because 2 years later she died from alcohol poisoning.
Right.
But her kids were never put in the will. Right. Glenda's kids were never put in the will at all. And I thought that was wrong, but there ain't nothing I could do about it.
Right. Well, maybe Larry, too, she's thinking that those kids who are probably more like adults now have a better chance at life, where Vaughn's kids have nothing. Like, she was probably she knows that Vaughn was incompetent.
Yeah, she did know that, and that's why she cried to me and told me to take over the bills.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to get involved, but I'm keeping her from going into a nursing home. That's all. And him saying I had them cameras on, I should have known she fell. I'm sorry, I don't stay up 24 hours a day playing on the computer like him. I got to get sleep. I got my own family to send to school and take care of, too.
Right. Well, no one expects you to be monitoring those cameras 24/7. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then, you know, I want to know when she fell. That's what I'd like to know. When did she fall? Was it that night or was it that morning? Mm-hmm. And he said that she had pillows and blankets on the floor. I don't see a 92-year-old woman laying down on the floor, period. She can't get back up off the floor, and she knows that. That'd be like me trying to lay down on the floor. I'm not getting back up without a tow truck.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. So, just to confirm, were the cameras on that morning, though, Larry? Like, is there any footage of him? Can we confirm what time he actually first went over?
The first time I seen it, it was about 8:30. At about 8:45, 9 o'clock, him and 2 men come walking in the house. And I knew who the 2 men were. They were both ambulance drivers, because they've been to my house to take me out of here for my heart attack. And they've been in here to take my wife out of here because of her diabetic seizures that she has.
Now, to be clear, too, Larry.
So, yes, I know that.
To be clear, too, Larry, you only have a couple cameras. So, I mean, if Vaughn is up and about, you're not necessarily going to see that if it was earlier, too, right?
I got 2 cameras, one that points at the front door and one that points at the back door. And the one in the back also points at the deep freezer to make sure nobody's going in there taking food out of it. Because I started putting more food in the deep freezer. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because Vaughn originally said that Go ahead.
I bought like 20 TV dinners. 3 days later, he tells her to call me and tell me that she's out of TV dinners. No woman's gonna. She don't go through 20 TV dinners like that.
Hey, Marsha, baby.
Oh, he was definitely rating it.
Donuts, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was definitely.
Donuts, she'd go through a bag a day.
He was feeding himself and before the kids out of her freezer. I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, and that's it. He was coming coming over, taking the food. I mean, it was probably all his food that he put in there. I'm not going to lie. It was probably his food that he used his food stamps with. He filled her freezer up because all he's got is a little freezer above his refrigerator. He ain't got no deep freezer like her, so he filled his food in her freezer and used her freezer, and he says it was her food.
Mm.
Because look at that picture that shows all that food. She should still have food, even if that was 2 years ago.
Right.
She's a 90-year-old woman. She don't eat 5 pieces of chicken at one time. Piece of chicken, half can of green beans, and a little bit of mashed potatoes, she's good.
Right. No, for sure.
You know, Miss Alice was okay. Miss Alice was okay on eating food. She loved her sweets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she loved. She loved them chocolate donuts. She loved them sweets. Bananas. She loved them bananas.
Right.
And I always made sure she had them.
Well, he's already raided her pantry because he's been eating the canned peaches and stuff, which is neither here nor there, but...
Yeah, I've noticed the peaches were over at his house. And then I want him to go ahead and take that food over there because it ain't going to be no good if he don't. So he can have that food. I mean, there ain't a lot there, but, you know, after he runs out, it's done with. Because I'm not buying no more for him. All that money's all locked down tight as a drum.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the executive of the will.
Well, I'm just thinking, Larry, that if he's already raided the pantry, I guaranteed he's already gone through those closets and stuff trying to find whatever he can. If there was any money in that trailer, he's got it.
Well, I'll tell you exactly. There's $14 in her purse the last time I seen it, and that was for her to buy a Swanson chocolate pie for herself, because Irvy wouldn't buy it for her, so I gave her enough money to buy the pie.
Gotcha. Wow. Vila out there would like Marcia to know that she thinks she's a legend. I'd like to talk to her sometime. I think Ronnie is actually in the chat, so you might want to direct that to Ronnie out there. Yeah, so as far as anything else, like, is there anything else that I know there's some things that, and I'm privy to a few things in the background too that probably shouldn't be discussed live, but do you know of anything that's going on? Any wheels? Like, what kind of timeline? Like, eventually Von Helton's going to have to go, no matter what happens, right? So, do we know a timeline of what we'd be looking like months before this is resolved, or?
Just tell you the truth, I wish it was tomorrow morning, but nobody knows until the judges and the lawyers decide what to do.
Right.
It's all in their hands now. Them and the power of the estate, which is, of course, Jim Frost.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So realistically, this could go on for months.
It could, but here's the kicker. How's the bills going to get paid?
Right.
Who's going to pay the bills? Because he ain't got no money to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. And all her money's locked down now. Mm-hmm. Social Security shut her checks down. Mm-hmm. She has no more money in the bank accounts.
Right.
So she has no money to keep paying his bills after she is gone. So what she's got left is being sent right to the judge and the lawyers and everybody like that.
Well, he's getting money somewhere because he's driving into town to the Dollar General and living like a prince.
Yeah, and that's it. He drove to the Dollar General, but he couldn't go to his mom's funeral.
Right.
He couldn't step outside while we were all out there. We stopped in her yard because I let the pallbearers, the preacher, and the coffin go up the hill because it was all muddy. So everybody else sat down there, and we prayed for Alice before she went up. They went up there and prayed for her up there, and they lowered her in the ground. As you all notice, Marcia did post pictures of the gravesite. She is not laying next to no dog.
Where's he getting that from?
The only way she's gonna lay next to a dog is if we lay him next to her, because he's the dog.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I'm wondering if he buried. He's too lazy to bury dogs up there.
He won't even walk up there. He can't even walk out of his yard to take his mom's garbage out, let alone
God, I wonder about the dogs. What's going to happen with all those dogs? Like, someone's got to come take those.
Yeah, and there. He won't even take his dog food out there and dump it in the driveway where the dogs can find it. He dumps it right on his back porch where he makes a mess.
Jesus.
And then he sets his garbage out on the back porch. The dogs drag it all through the yard, and then we got to pay the lawn care service to pick up the yard, and then I got to pay the lawn care to cut the yard.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then he wants to know where $200 went. Hell, they charged me $100 to pick up the yard and $100 to cut the yard.
Right. Jeepers. That's a fair-sized property, too, so.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice-sized property. I mean, when you put the pond and everything in there, that's about 260 acres. But he ain't cutting all that. He only cut about 2 acres of it. The rest of it's all wooded land. You can't cut it. It's all woods. 3 mountains.
Well, I mean, I guess
I just think Irby's...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying...
I just think Irby's lost his mind.
Well, I mean, there would be those that argue that he lost it a while ago. I think he still knows what he did. I think he's stretching, right? He doesn't. He has no options. He's a man. He's deluded. He's stubborn, and he won't admit that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Bravo donated $5 through Super Chat.
Well, he's getting himself in a lot of trouble.
Taxes or utility
I mean, he wants to post videos. Keep posting them. I can always send them to the people that really needs to see them, like the principal of the school.
Right.
I think he'd like to see this one. And everybody else that he's talked about.
Well, I'm told
a lot of them people don't get on YouTube. A lot of them people don't even know what the computer is nowadays.
Right.
This is the woods.
Yeah.
They get up in the morning at sunrise. They do what they got to do. They take care of their farms. They eat. They go to work. They come home. They take care of their farm, and they go to bed. They don't get on the computers.
Right.
That man that he says that Jim paid off and bought all the farm equipment for, that man's got money. And the man that he's talking about ain't even the principal. The guy's son is the principal. This guy he's talking about is like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah. And to be clear with the vehicle too, Larry, like that was in his ma's name, so that's her truck, not his truck, right?
Yes, that is Alice's truck, and he will lose that too as soon as he starts losing everything.
Should he be driving around with it?
Should he be? No, we should be over there taking the plates off it, but I'm not. I can't do nothing until the judge tells me I can.
Right.
Or that little Jim can.
Right.
Because little Jim's got me helping him since I know the renters and I know what's going on in these houses. He's letting me still collect the rent, still take care of things down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do nothing at Alice's house or Irby's house.
Right.
He better never take anything out of Alice's house because they want a record of everything in Alice's house. Everything, even to the last blanket.
Right. Oh, guaranteed he's had his fingers in there already.
Well, I know he's took the food, but there ain't no money, and really there's not much in there that's worth anything besides, possessions that maybe some of the Frost family might want, like pictures of my great-great-grandfather, pictures of his mother, pictures of, everybody in the family that goes back to the camera days.
Right.
Them would be the only things any of us would want. Does any of us want the properties? No, we don't want them. Would we buy them if we had a chance? Would I buy the one with the pond by itself? Yeah, I would. At the right price.
Right.
But I'm not a rich man, so I'm not worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I can't take land with me when I die.
Right.
And my kids don't like living in the country. They want to wait till they get back to the big cities. But you got to remember, I got teenage boys. They're starting to learn what girls are, and they want to get out there and spread their wild oats.
Yeah. But Jeez.
And you can't do it down here because everybody here is your cousin.
Yeah, probably not a good situation. I hear you there.
When I moved down here 15 years ago, I was a single man. Me and my wife was having problems. I left her in Ohio. I moved down here, and everybody told me, Larry, before you date somebody down here, check her ID. Find out, run a name check on her, because 95% of everybody down here is related to you.
Mm-hmm.
My family is from this area.
Right. Just to back up a second about the one more thing about the vehicle, we know that
Sean87 has just
the
donated
vehicle is
$2.
in Ma's name, so I would
Larry
assume that
Frost,
the
why did
insurance
you
would
beat
be
his
as well.
ass, bitch?
Yes, it is.
Well, that'll be cut off.
And it has not been paid yet this month. None of the bills have been paid this month yet.
So Irvy's
So he's
driving
gonna be
around
getting-
illegal.
Yeah, because there's no insurance on the truck.
Folks.
And his water bill wasn't paid. His light bill's not been paid.
Mm-hmm.
Telephone, I don't know.
Right.
Because that's the one that he always paid. To keep his internet on, he has to pay his phone.
Right.
With $41, I want to see how he's going to keep it on.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously he's got tapped in. I don't know if J-Dubs or Solar or one of these idiots have given him money, but he's found money somewhere.
Well, that's it. Someone send him some money or something. But if they got money to send away like that, tell them to send it to me. I could use it. I got a kid going off to college that I'm supposed to be stealing money for.
Right.
I don't have to steal money. He's got a full scholarship, but he does have to pay for his room. He does have to pay for his food.
Right.
But it ain't coming from Alice's money. That boy's worked harder in the first year of his life that he worked more than Irby has his whole life.
Right. Wait.
My son made over $400 last month.
Right. Well, that's more than Irv's made in a long time. And you're in kind of the same situation too. Like, I mean, you live on Alice's land too, so you have to find a place to live.
Yes, and I'm already looking.
Yes,
Secular?
Marsha. Yes, Marsha.
Somebody just said that the truck will be repoed soon. Oh, dude, but it's paid for.
It's paid for. Yeah, there's not a repo yet.
Alice don't do loans.
Alice doesn't do loans.
Right,
That's
right.
it.
Yeah, the only repo would be Jim coming down there and taking it because he's the executive of the will.
Well, it'll be sold with the rest of her stuff, like the rest of the estate, right? It'll be liquidated, sold on.
That would be what Jim wants to do. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean that's dangerous too.
I'm trying to keep them into keeping them all.
Well, that's.
Because, you know, if I can get...
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, if we can get Irby out of the trailer and I can get it cleaned up good enough to rent it out for $300 a month, Miss Alice's bank account should be drawing $1,500 a month every month for the next 10 years for them kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then they still have the properties that they can do whatever they want once they turn 21.
Right.
But if we sell the properties now, all they're going to have is the money that we sold the properties for. And James says his mom's worth $2.5 million, that land.
Mm-hmm.
That land ain't worth that.
Right.
That land is not nowhere near that.
Right.
I think in the books it says it's worth about $145,000.
Right.
The one I'm living in is only worth $25,000. The ones that the other two people...
Mm-hmm.
And then Miss Alice owns two pieces of property that don't have nothing on it. 1 acre that's completely bare. Then she's got a 50-acre piece of land that's got a pond on it. Which ain't worth but $1,600 or something.
Right.
So where he gets everything's worth 2.6 or whatever, he's nuts.
He has no concept of
Well,
money.
look, you guys, when he first said Jim stole his money, it was $10,000. Now it's up to $7.2 million.
Right. Right.
That's where Miss Alice had her problems with him. He could not control the money. He did not pay her telephone. He did not pay the AARP, and that's when she called me and said, Larry, take over. He says he's got a video that Alice didn't let me take it over. Well, I got news for him. Joe and Jennifer was there when she handed me the green card and said, Larry, take this home with you. Take care of my bills for me. I got witnesses, so he can say, and I hope he does turn that one film thing that he did of Alice. You cannot record a dementia woman. It's against the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans going on that way, that's for sure. Jeepers creepers. Yeah, but I would assume...
I mean, she tells him one thing.
Mm-hmm.
She tells him one thing and tells me a different.
Right.
I really think she was scared of him.
Well, and I think she was easily influenced towards the end. I mean, obviously she was having some mental issues going on, so...
Yeah. And if she didn't love me and didn't want me around her, she wouldn't have begged me to move into this house that I'm in.
Right.
Irby says that I owe him $15,000 in back rent because I have not paid since the day I moved in.
Right.
Well, people, I've been here 8 years. That means Miss Alice owes me over $28,000. The Combs wasn't even there 2 years, and they owe him $35,000. I want to know what he was trying to charge the Combs for rent.
Right.
Because the Combs were there 2 years. They were only there 2 years, and they owe $35,000. But I was there 8 years, and I only owe $25,000. He can't add money.
Yeah, well, he's not good with numbers. He just kind of pulls them out and decides what they are, I think. And how much rent has Irby ever
And
paid?
we know where he's pulling them out at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's never paid a dime of rent or anything there. He won't even cut the grass.
No. And then complains that his mom's paying somebody $100 to cut the grass.
Right.
But he won't cut the grass.
Geez, you think he'd
And
cut it
that's
for
why
$100?
Well, him and his mom and the fireman made an agreement that the fireman would cut the grass, both of them, the long field and the main house around the houses, and he was supposed to do all the snow removal and do any other work that we needed. Irby and Alice agreed to it to him, and that's what he went by. And when after I took control, I told him he had to move because I needed the rent money, that he was charging her way too much to cut the grass.
Right.
And that's why the fireman moved. We are still friends. They still live in the neighborhood. They didn't move far.
Right. Now, I got a question for you, Larry.
You know,
I got a question for you.
go ahead.
Because he's changed his narrative a little bit now. Now he's saying he doesn't care about the gods. He's taking things in his own hands, and he's got a plan. What do you think he's planning to do?
I hope he comes over here. I hope so.
Well,
That's called trespassing.
you guys were wondering before that someone had mentioned that he may try to burn down some of the buildings or something before he leaves.
Well, if he does, then he goes to jail for arson. Besides whatever else he goes to jail for, he will get it for arson. You cannot burn a house down. And if any houses gets burnt down, it should be his. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get someone to move into it.
Well, yeah.
I literally will have to move the trailer, wash the land, and then put a new trailer there.
Right.
Because up under his trailer is full of dog shit.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I heard the human shit's there too, so...
Do you know if Vaughn still has any guns?
He sold them all.
He sold them all, eh? Wow.
Yeah, he got hard up for money. He had to sell them.
Yeah.
But he says that they're all gone.
Alice's guns.
All Alice's guns are gone. He sold them all.
Oh man.
He said Junior and Jeff broke in and took all the guns. But the girl that was going over there and cleaning the house for him, the fireman's wife's daughter, she was there when he had people over there buying them guns from him.
Right.
And she already told me she'll say that out loud.
Right.
See, and that's his problem. He gets caught in all these lies and he can't get out of them.
Well, he was trying to make the accusation this morning that there's a plot to either kill him or burn his place down, and he says that makes you guys automatically guilty somehow.
Well, we don't want to burn his house down because I'd rather just trash it and send it to the scrapyard and put a brand new trailer. Him, I don't care if he's living or dead or what happens to him, but I'm going to take care of Alice's properties the way she wanted us to take care of them. Period. No matter what he says, what he likes, or what he wants. Because he has nothing to do with it. He has not left nothing in the will. It's all his kids. It'll be, honestly, Andrea has just as much rights to it as he does.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
If he's got any rights to that, so does she, because them are her kids too.
Right.
I told her 2-3 years ago, I wish she would have moved. She should have called the cops on Irby when he pulled that gun out on her, had him arrested, and right now she'd be living in that house with her kids owning it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I thought of that.
And I honestly think that would have happened.
Wow. Wow.
That's exactly what would have happened. Miss Alice was tired of paying Irby's bills. She told me that.
Oh, yeah.
She was tired of taking care of him. She was tired of him running his mouth on everybody.
Right. Yeah. Now,
I mean, people say, well, what?
Go ahead.
And I got recordings, but I'm not allowed to show them recordings of her saying that stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, best keep
that.
That
was the camera talking there.
Right. Now,
yeah, it's on the cameras. I mean, I got them. The lawyers have seen them, so.
Okay, so
Them are the only
authorities
ones
and
I'm allowed to show 'em to.
lawyers have seen some of these videos and different evidences, right?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
we have contacted authorities.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of people say I can put him in jail for slandering my name. He says he's putting me in jail for slandering him. He started on me first.
Right.
He's the one that says I'm stealing money. He's the one that says I'm doing this and that. I'm stealing her green card. I've never stole a thing from that woman. And never would.
Larry, just to change gears for a quick second here, and again, I brought this up earlier, I am aware of some things going on in the background, and that I know there's things that are best not talked about on a live video and stuff like that. But in regards to any investigations or authorities looking at stuff, is there anything you can share with us that you do know that's going on right now? Are they investigating for elder abuse and neglect?
I cannot share. Yes. Yes, they are. And a few other things, too.
Okay, yep.
He's got a big case going to be happening really soon. And it's going to...
Oh. Larry, did we lose you?
slap.
There we go. Okay, so can you repeat that, Larry? Your internet kind of cut out for a
So
second.
it's all falling down in this... I would say some reason we're breaking up.
Yeah, we're breaking up a little bit. But there is
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. But there is an investigation. We can confirm that for sure. That's still ongoing into some activities he's been up to.
Yeah, there is an investigation, yes.
Okay. Again, I've been told some stuff in the background and kept up, but I know there's things that we can't talk about live. I do know that there are people out there that are actually watching these videos, and his. So the more that he opens his mouth, he could be making a worse case for himself.
That's what I want. I want him to. I want him to open that mouth. Say something that I want him to say.
Right.
Because, you know, what happened is, you know, something, I don't know. You know, 2 days before she passed on, or before this accident happened, She told me my dad and my brother Floyd came here and said it was time for me to come home.
Mm.
And I didn't understand them. And you know something? I think they literally did. They told her that it was time for her to come home. She's done dealing with her retarded son, so it's time for her to come home. And 2 days later, that she's, has this accident. December 11th, he throws that up there a lot, guys. If everybody looks, December 11th was on a Saturday. The only thing I was doing on Saturday is going to put her Christmas tree up, because everybody that knows Hilton knows her favorite holiday, which is Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ.
Right.
And she celebrated it with the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking forward to putting the tree. She didn't take her tree down until somewhere in the late February.
Right.
That's how much she loves Christmas.
Right. Well, it's sad. That's too
And
bad.
we were going over to put her Christmas tree up on the 11th of December, and this accident happened the 11th of December.
Mm-hmm.
And then Irving said that I got a voodoo doll or something, and I made it happen.
Right.
I'm sorry, my God don't do that. I only have one God. There's only one God to serve, and my God don't do that.
Right.
My God will take her home if he thinks it's time for her to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
But my God don't say, I don't say, well, I want her dead and my God kills her. That don't work that way.
Right.
My God would kill me before he killed her. Because my God don't allow that.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty sad that how she had to spend Christmas this
That-
year.
he's just,
Man. And he wouldn't even go and visit her. Not once.
never visit her, never come out of this house to say goodbye or nothing to her.
Right.
And I can bet $100 bill right now that he's not even been up to the gravesite yet.
It's something else, Well, is there anything else you want to share, Larry? You got any news or updates that the people might be interested in for now?
Not really. I mean, if there's any questions, I'll answer them. But I mean, I just wanted to put out there, I did not kill Alice.
No, for
that
sure.
was my world. I mean,
Yeah.
that woman, I worship the ground she walked on because she was the last of my Mohicans.
Right.
In other words, the last of our people.
Right. No.
I watched 8 of my great uncles and great aunts pass away, and she was the last of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you.
As everyone knows, my grandfather, Ronnie Ray's grandfather, was the first one to pass away. We lost him at a young age.
Right.
And me and Ronnie, we cherish every one of them that we were able to take and spend time with.
Right.
Floyd, Alice, Sophie, Elsie, all of them.
Right.
We loved them all the same. We loved them to death.
I took care of Sophie for the first 2 years that we moved to Kentucky. I was at Aunt Sophie's house right after I put my children on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Till she fell and broke her hip. God love her. That was the worst day of my life. Watching that sweet old lady. She was asleep in her recliner chair, and all of a sudden she jumped up. So I jumped up, and she grabbed her walker, and she put her walker between me and her recliner.
I mean, how many rest in pieces has he put out there of his mother? How many pictures has he said, show pictures to people of my mother? My mom passed away, and here's a picture. Look at the family showing the pictures. And he's mad because we're showing pictures.
Right. Yeah. Well, it makes him look bad. That's why he's mad.
Well, it is bad.
Yeah. No,
My mom was my world.
Mm-hmm.
His mom was my world. She told me one day, she goes, Larry, why can't I have a son like you? And I was like, honey, because you didn't raise me. My parents raised me, and they taught me right from wrong. I was taught to respect my parents. I was taught to respect all elders.
Right.
I was taught to get out there off my lazy ass and get a job and pay my own way. And I started that at 16 years old.
Right.
I had my first apartment at 16 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did I ever move back in with Mommy? Yes, I did. I moved back in with my mom twice.
Mm-hmm.
For about 2 months until I got another job, got on my feet, and got back out. You think I want to live with Mommy? No, I can't have sex if I live with my mother.
Right?
I was a young boy. I was doing anything and everything that would hold still long enough.
Right. Well, we've all been there. I think. But,
Yes, we all have been, especially if you're a male.
yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the future, I mean, we just like to keep up on updates and anything that again, there's stuff going on. I realize it, and I'm privy to a little bit. There's stuff I think that is best just not to talk about on a live broadcast. But we have confirmed there is, in fact, still an investigation going on, yes. And
Yes.
Vaughn has now admitted he's out driving the truck illegally. Funny he couldn't drive it to visit his kids or his mom, but he can drive around now.
Yeah, exactly. He can drive it 1.5 miles. You know, the day he says that he went to the grocery store to get donuts for his kids?
Right.
How many of you people out there would leave your 8-year-old, 6-year-old kids at home by themselves while he runs and goes to get donuts? And he says it took him 5 minutes. It takes him 5 minutes to get to the store, 5 minutes to get home from the store, and hope they're not busy.
And you know damn well he was playing lottery tickets and everything else while he was there.
Yeah, and if he's buying lotteries, I'll bet he was gone a half hour.
Yeah. But even 5
Any
minutes,
man who leaves his 8-year-old kid and 6-year-old kids at home needs to have somebody call it on him.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Why can't he take the kids with him if it's that important, right?
Yeah, and that's it. Why didn't he take the kids with him if it's that important to get them donuts?
Yeah. Well, he's just lazy. He's lazy and incompetent. That pretty much sums up Von Helden. But yeah, he's driving around illegal in that truck. It can't be. He's not insured. It's not in his name. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when I get off here tonight, I will call Jim and let Jim know he's driving it.
Yeah, I think it's best that Jim knows what's going on with that stuff, because, I mean, what if he gets in an accident and writes the car off and shit? Oh, my goodness. It's just
Right.
so many bad
And then
things
it
could
all
happen.
comes back on Alice because it's in Alice's name.
Yeah. Aye, folks. Well, yeah, definitely, and I guess maybe when you touch base with Jim, he can let you know what the lawyer said, and if there's anything that you can share, any kind of timeline. But as I said before, I mean, this could take a while, like, before we see Vaughn. He's most likely going to get cut off utilities before he has to leave the land. That's what I would assume.
Yes, I would assume that too. The utilities, well, no one's paying them this month, so everything should be going off this month.
Right.
His light bill is due by the 23rd. If he ain't got it paid by the 23rd, by the 1st of the month, they will have him shut off.
Right.
And Alice does not have the money to pay it because it's all locked into Social Security.
Right.
So when Social Security found out that Alice passed away, they locked her bank account down. So I cannot even get into it. Jim can't even get into it.
Right.
So nobody can pay none of the bills until we get the will read and see what the lawyer's saying. Then we got to get a hold of Social Security and let them unlock her bank account so we can pay her last bills of her life.
Right.
Because she still owes a light bill. She still owes a water bill. She still owes the trash.
Mm-hmm.
She still owes a lot of bills, and she's got to pay them before anybody gets anything.
Right.
You got to pay all the debts first before any of them grandkids get anything.
Right. 100%.
Somebody said something about me buying this place. Well, you know, I might try to buy this place at the right price, but I can't give no $40,000 for this place. It ain't worth that.
Hey, Larry.
Maybe $25,000.
Down in Clay County, do they have anything going right now, whether it be because of the season or COVID, about not turning off utilities? I know up here sometimes they'll give you like a brownout where it's just you get dim lights and you can't run major appliances, but you got enough to keep the heat going. Is there anything like that there where he might try to run on for a while?
I don't really know. I mean, I've never honestly, I've been here 15 years and I've never used no assistance at all from nobody but pay my bills.
Right.
So, I mean, that's someone else that you would have to ask that, someone that maybe has tried to use them before or got help.
Right.
You know, I don't see trying to shut his lights off in the winter, but, you know, he could also live there without lights and water and everything. All he has to do is turn his stove on and that'll heat his house, because he's got free natural gas there.
Now, I don't know, does
But he
the
won't be
natural
able to use
gas,
it.
but doesn't it require electricity? Oh, I guess he could just do the stove. Yeah, I was thinking the furnace would require electricity, but...
Yeah, the furnace does need electricity for the fans.
Right, so he's planning he's just going to run
The
his
only
stove,
thing on
his
the
gas
furnace is
stove
the
open.
fan.
Right.
He'll have to run the gas stove.
Well, that'll be interesting because he's scared to death of the dark. I wonder if he's still turning the lights on over at Ma's.
Yeah, he is. And we've yelled at him and told him to turn them off, and he laughs at us and turns them all back on.
Well, what is his purpose of that? She's not even there anymore. Why is he turning the lights on?
I don't know, but he knows that that's wasting money he don't have. And she don't have. I mean, I'm not going to say no amount. I know exactly what she's got in the bank account.
Right. Yeah, I got you. No.
And she will have enough to cover it, but, you know, it ain't going to leave his kids much.
Right.
You know, unless they sell the properties, or like I said, I can collect $1,500 a month for the next 10 years. What's that? About $130,000?
Right.
I mean, I've already paid in $28,000 living here for 8 years. So 10 years, that means they'll get almost $33,000 from me, $33,000 from that house, $33,000 from that house, $33,000 from that house, $33,000 from that house.
Right.
He can get up to $170,000 in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
For the kids.
Wow. Well, you know what, Larry? I'm going to let you go. I thank you for coming in tonight. Give Jim a call. And if there's any updates, I would appreciate you pass them along. And, you know, I'm not going to share anything that's not supposed to be shared. So, but I guess as far as that goes, we keep our eyes open, our ears to the ground, and, you know, see what plays out that way.
If anyone sees any posts, you see a post from him, send it to me.
Okay. Yeah, as I understand, there are
Thank
people
you all.
watching.
Bye.
So. Yeah, see you later. See you later, Marcia, if you're still there, too.
All right, bye.
I'm not sure if Marcia's there. All right, we're going to let it call.
You still there, Marsh? She's in the other room.
Oh, hey, Ron. Hey, did you want to say anything, Ron, before I hang up the call?
I don't know. I believe Larry's pretty much covered all the bases tonight. Way to go, cuz.
I think those bases are covered, too.
Doing what I'm supposed to.
Put your thing down, big boy.
All right, I'm going to hang up the call, guys. Thanks for jumping in.
All right, man.
All right. All right, there we go, folks. So that's what we got so far. Maybe we'll have a little bit more that we can bring up tomorrow night. Again, there are some more things going on, but certain things just can't be discussed. We can't do it. The butthurt lawyer wants to please inform Marcia that I have evidence of her crimes against my client as far back as 1962, the week after he was conceived. Folks, you're getting the news hot. Again, tomorrow night, we are going to cover this rant of Vaughn in its full glory, not the edited down version. There are some things I'll have to skip through because he goes on about you know what, but he's naming names. He's dropped my name, my full legal name now, and saying that I'm implicated in murder. Again, for us, it's a joke. Do I take Von Helton seriously? Absolutely not. I don't give a fuck. But when you got to live with this guy and deal with him, I don't know. But I have a feeling this is going to drag on for a while. I don't think it's going to be like next week he's evicted and this and that. This is going to be a process here, folks. Folks, please thumbs up the video. But since we're all here, let's finish watching Von Helton. Again, this is Nats in the Pizza doing the God's work. And he has put together an edited down, watered down version of Von Helton's rant this morning. Again, we'll cover that tomorrow in full. I see a lot of people out there have been uploading some classic Von Helton clips too. Irv ruined his own life. If you're not subbed to that channel, check it out. It's literally a plethora of Von Helton content. He's been putting up some good stuff. Nana Force is back. If you've been around for a while, you know that username. Check her channel out. She's been putting up some good clips. Of course, Nads. But, folks, let's hear it from the horse Vag's mouth.
Tropic drugs to keep her dumb and stupid and make her forget. But the gods started giving her memory back. The medication stopped working. And her memory was coming back. Oh, well, we can't have that. We can't have her remembering that James Arnold Frost stole $2.5 million out of her closet and then obtained an illegal POA and went and cleaned out her bank account. We can't have people remembering that. So we got to kill her so that she can't testify in court. Right? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Cold-blooded murder. Premeditated cold-blooded murder. And Clay County's going to sweep it right under the rug, aren't you, Clay County? Yes, you are. Well, I got a funny feeling that this time ain't nothing getting swept under the rug. Call it a hunch. Call it a hunch, but there ain't nothing going to be swept under the rug. Because I'm telling you right now, if I don't see results by the end of this week, I'm going to step in. Now you say, well, Von, the guys told you to stay out. Right, but see, there's been a change of plans. There's been a change of plans. And so if I don't see results by the end of this week in regards to the Frost or in regards to my children, I will step in. I will step in and I will start doing some shit. I have no choice.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about taking it down. I'm going to play the whole thing tomorrow anyways, except for I'm going to skip through the Corona shit. But other than that, he said my name many times. It's not a secret. That's just, and again, like, I don't care. I think it's funny, right? But I couldn't imagine having to deal with this fucking idiot through all this shit. Like, just, anyways.
I don't have a choice. I cannot allow these people to get away with murder. I can't allow that. I'm sorry. I can't allow that. And the gods will just have to reprimand me later. But I cannot allow these people to get away with murder. They already got away with grand theft. And now they're going to get away with murder? Oh, hell no. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. No. They're going to go to prison. Or the gods are going to take them out of this world one. I don't know which. But I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to give it a week. I'll give it a week. And we'll see what happens. But if I don't see anything by the end of the week, I'm going to have to step in. I ain't going to have a choice. I'm not going to have a choice. Literally. I literally have no choice. What was it somebody said the other day? God helps those who help themselves. Okay, so there's going to be a point where I'm going to have to step in. Where I'm going to have to do something. Right? I'm going to have to. They're going to get away with murder if I don't. I can't allow that. I'm sorry. I can't allow them to get away with cold-blooded murder. I can't do that. But me putting this out here in front of 43 witnesses is a big help. Because now you know what really happened. Now you know why things happen the way they are. And every one of them people that stood out there in my backyard aiding and abetting the Frost, they're going to go to jail too. They're going to go to jail for aiding and abetting. It really pays to come and talk to the son and not a bunch of strangers. You really need to talk to the son, especially when it concerns his mother. You don't need to be talking to a bunch of strangers that come from Ohio. You need to be talking to me.
Well, maybe if the son actually got off his ass, picked up the phone and communicated with the hospital, communicated with the funeral home. I mean, folks, and again, the Frost didn't make the decisions on the funeral and stuff. It was already prearranged by Alice. She did not want to be buried in Ohio next to her ex-husband. Sorry about your luck, Von Helden. Get over it. Those decisions were made. And thank goodness they were, because Von Helden did absolutely nothing. That body would still be sitting there unclaimed. Or whatever procedures after so long. I'm sure they're going to deal with it one way or another. But I'm just saying, Like the doctor appointments, like everything else, Vaughn thinks that they call him. Oh, the funeral home will call me to make arrangements. Oh, the hospital will call me to make arrangements. The doctor will call me. And when a week goes by and he hasn't got a phone call, or in the case of doctor appointments, it hasn't went, months go by, he just carries on. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck, folks. Thumbs up the video.
That's the person you need to be talking to. But like I said, it's all good. But we'll see how things go. I'm willing to give it to the end of this week. And we'll see what happens. This is now Wednesday. Still got plenty of time. But we'll see what happens. If I don't see any change by the end of this week, man, I'm going to have to step in. I'm going to have to do something. Because I can't let them get away with murder. I'm sorry. I can't let them get away with murder. They got away with grand theft, and that's bad enough. But now they're wanting to get away with murder too? No. No way in hell. No way in hell. Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost, and possibly the other Frost too as accessories, are going to go to jail for murder. Or at the very least, manslaughter. At the very least. But they're going to go to jail. And if any of these neighbors around here aided and abetted them, they're going to prison too as accessories. I will see to that. And I'm not going to file in Kentucky where they can throw the fucking thing out. I'm going to file in D.C. in federal court. That way they...
That's a good point, Marcy. And not only my diatribe about being a fucking lazy ass, in spite of all that, they did try to call him. And he just totally ignored the responsibility. He ignored the responsibility and then was mad when other people stepped up and took care of the details. Can't win for losing.
They can't throw it out. That way I get a fair trial and my mother will be avenged. Because that's what it takes. That's what it's about. My mother must be avenged. She was murdered in cold blood, and she must be avenged. Y'all gonna go to jail, motherfuckers. You killed somebody. You killed somebody. You did it by proxy, but you still killed somebody. So you're gonna go to prison. But yeah, Marcia laughed, flipped me the bird. I mean, mom's dead. So, they got the money out of her and shit. So they're happy, I guess. But we'll see. Because the gods I serve may have something up their sleeve. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to have to do something before the end of this week, obviously. I don't know. I may give it an extra week, just to be sure. But I'm going to have to act. I'm going to have to do something. Because I cannot let these motherfuckers walk away killing someone. Okay, I can't do that. Sorry. No amount of money would make me turn a blind eye to cold-blooded murder. No amount of money. But we'll see. They do say money talks and bullshit walks. Well, we're going to find out. Is Clay County going to let the Frost get away with cold-blooded murder? Or is murder crossing a line? Maybe murder's crossing the line, and Clay County will actually step up and do something and throw these Frosts behind bars where they should have been years ago. But every one of them people standing out in my backyard, they go into jail right along with the Frost as an accessory. Absolutely. Absolutely. You aided and abetted a murderer. And you think you're going to walk? Hell no. You're not walking. Ain't nobody walking away. No fucking way. And like I said, the governor's office has already been informed. The attorney general's office has already been informed. The media has already been informed. Various congressmen and senators have been informed. They've been given a nice big...
I just want to look, folks. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not against guns. I'm just not my thing, right? So I don't know all the ins and outs. I know some of the laws here, and in Kentucky, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that guns that aren't registered to you, you're not supposed to be selling. Can anyone out there confirm that? I'm pretty sure, even in the holler of Kentucky, you're not supposed to be out there selling guns if they're in fact registered to someone else. I think there's... Is that a thing? Can someone please comment on that? Because, again, I don't want to be telling any tales outside of school, but I'm just saying there might be some pawn shops being looked at right now.
Long itemized list of every fucking shit that's been done to my family, whether it be with my kids or with my mother or with my ex-wife. Like I said, I'm going to have to go to Washington, D.C. and file in Washington, D.C. That's what I'm going to have to do. That's the only way to get a fair trial. You're not going to get a fair trial here in Kentucky. James Arnold Frost has been doling out my money, my inheritance money, paying off judges, police officers, lawyers, and God knows what else. So it's not going to help. Oh, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with my vehicle. My vehicle is in perfect working order. There's nothing wrong with this house. There's nothing wrong with me. So if anything happens to my vehicle, if anything happens to this house, or if anything happens to me, that will be 2 murders on the Frost's heads. Okay, just so we're clear on that shit. Let's be clear on that shit. I am not suicidal. There is nothing wrong with me physically. There is nothing wrong with my truck, and there's nothing wrong with this property or my house. So if something happens, it will be at the behest of James Arnold Frost and Larry Frost. Absolutely it will. So let's get that clear right now. So if anything is done to me in any way, shape, or form, it will be considered an automatic guilty plea on the part of Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost.
How can it be an automatic guilty plea? How can you plea on behalf of someone? Something happens to Von Helton, you automatically plead guilty? What the hell is he talking about? So
you said, what should I do? What, Postal? You better fucking believe it. Go, 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 go.
Dragnope de Booley has just donated $2 through Super Chat. Pride cometh before the fall. If ya know, ya know.
If you're in the know, the knows, folks. There's some words of wisdom right there. But yeah, as far as the gun thing, I'm getting some different answers out there. And I know it goes state to state, and it goes... So I'm not sure. But as someone pointed out, too... if they could prove that it was stolen property, that's a different that's another pile of sticks. So I'm not sure how it works down there in Clay County, but it'll be interesting, folks. I think there's a lot more details in the background going on that we know. Now again, am I expecting fireworks? Am I expecting a SWAT team to bust in? Not necessarily. But just keep your eyes open. The updates will be interesting over the next little while.
You can't do that. I already did, motherfuckers. I already did. How you like?
Platy has just donated $3. How can Vaughn get to Washington, D.C. if he couldn't afford to go see his dying mother?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, he's living like a prince down there at the Dollar General. Lurking in the parking lot, driving Ma's truck around illegally. Not insured. In her name. Filling up that freezer. Interesting.
Like them apples. So yeah, if my trailer should suddenly catch on fire, or if my truck should suddenly break down, or if something should suddenly happen to me, I should have a horrible accident of some kind, Larry Frost and James Arnold Frost will be immediately arrested and thrown in prison. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Yes, it is. You can't do it. Yeah, I already did. It's already done. It's already set up, bro. Already set up. Yeah, buddy. That's already set up. That's been set up for a while now. Before my mother, I set that up before my mother passed, because I know how these people are. Like, remember, the God said they're not going to stop.
They're going to keep going on and going on and going on and going on and going on. They're not going to stop. They're just not. But like I said, the gods tell me to stay out of it. And I'm doing my level best to stay out of it. But the more this drags on, I don't know. I may have to intervene whether I want to or not. And like I said, anything happens to me, automatic guilty pleas on the part of James Arnold Frost and Larry Frost. Automatic guilty pleas. If anything happens to my trailer, me, or my vehicle. Isn't that neat? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And like I said, the governor's office has been sitting on all this information for over a year, but the governor's office did not act. And because they did not act and throw these fuckwads in prison, my mom is dead. That's not an opinion. That's not speculation. That's not hyperbole or bloviating or exaggeration. No, 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 no. That is an absolute fact. Larry Frost admitted to the whole world that he went behind my back and gave mom the knowing full well that she's either going to get a heart attack or she's going to get a blood clot. Well, mom ended up getting the blood clot and not the heart attack. Had mom got the heart attack, she would have died instantly. But since she got the blood clot, she kind of lingered on a little bit. But they got what they wanted. They wanted her dead, and now she's dead. Plain and simple. That's a fact. It's not my opinion. It's absolute fact. And like I said, anything that happens to me, my property, or my vehicle is an automatic guilty plea from James Arnold Frost and Larry Frost. I've already got that set up.
A light worker, basically in a nutshell, is a new agey kind of nutty term for people who claim to be able to manipulate white magic or whatever the case may be and use it to help people, to heal, to break up storms. Like Von Helton claims he has the power to fucking fight off hurricanes and tornadoes. Of course, it always happens, after a factory is fucking ran through and 50 people are killed. But that's what he means by a light worker. He is an agent of the gods to do their work and be a force of good in the world.
Already got it set up. It's a done deal. How you like them apples, guys? Now you say, well, why? Because I knew they was up to no good. I knew they was up to no good. It doesn't, you could, when you get bit so many times, you finally figure out, hey, I need to stop getting bit. I need to stop, I need to stay away and stop getting bit, right? And like I said, the God said they're not going to stop. They just keep on. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop.
All right, folks. So that was an abridged version, kind of broke up throughout the show. Thanks again to Nats and the Pizza. I know some links were thrown out there before, but there's his channel right there. And I will be covering the full rant tomorrow night on Weirdo Wonderland, as well as some classic clips. And we're going to have some fun with that. But until then, I guess we'll just keep our eyes open, our ear to the ground, all that good stuff, and see if we can get some more updates. Like I said, there's more things going on in the background, folks, but we can't talk about it live. But the more he opens his mouth, the more he's digging himself a hole. But again, being just a scumbag, being a piece of shit, being a selfish, self-absorbed narcissist isn't illegal.
Puffalopagus has just donated $2 through Super Chat. Irony, Von can't eat an apple.
He can't. He can't eat an apple, folks. But being a piece of shit, I mean, there's lots of things we'd like to see him nailed for, but that's not illegal. But neglect is a crime. Contrary to Von Helton and G-Man and all the power minds on the interwebs, neglect is a crime. Selling someone else's property while they're slipping into fucking dementia, if it can be proven, that's a crime. Admitting to leaving your mother, your 92-year-old mother, on the floor 3 times while she was suffering from a stroke could possibly be a crime. And there's so much more, folks. But for right now, this is where we're going to leave it. I think Dragnot said he's going live. So if you want to check that out, go over to Dragnot's channel. Also, what the hell, it's early. I'm not used to doing this shit this early. If anybody wants to come on over to Discord, we can have a little powwow. I know Discord was hot today. People had lots to say in the chat. So if you want to come in and do a live little thing, I can bang around for an hour or so. If any of the Frosts want to come in, they're more than welcome. I will not record this one. Last time, just so to be clear, I got permission to record it and I put it up. But this one is just a hangout. It's a free speak, so feel free to speak freely. And it'll be all in there. I will not record and repost it. But anybody wants to come on over, I will throw the link out right now. There's the server. It's also in the description, folks. Thank you for joining me this evening. Again, tomorrow night, Weirdo Wonderland. It's gonna get nasty. Thanks for coming. Thumbs up, subscribe.